What we would be doing is we control that switching coordination with Cablevision. We can say, okay, it's Tuesday night from 7 to 1 a.m., switch Woodbridge to town-specific Woodbridge, so your
So
people
now
are
there's a
seeing
third
that.
entity in the switch.
Mhm.
And I think that one of the big concerns here is going to be the smoothness of this process.
Correct.
Whatever we end up
Correct.
agreeing to. Not having the ability to throw a switch literally ourselves is going to be very different for the people of Woodbridge. It's not
But
what
you
we're
don't
used
have
to.
that capability now.
Well, our switch doesn't get thrown
Because it
anyway.
never gets
except
thrown,
what we
but it
said,
will be,
yeah,
that will
yeah,
change.
yeah.
And that is,
And we need
that,
confidence in that process.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because
So
if
do
it
we.
doesn't work out,
We all do.
we're, you know.
so do we. Let me, and let me give you an example of why it's important that we have INET accessibility. We had an issue a couple of years ago with the John Rowland
Yeah. Mhm.
thing, and what happened
That
is,
was our issue.
and that was your issue. What happened with that issue was, we sent that directive to Cablevision's head end. Because we have no way of viewing what's going on in the INET, we assumed it was done.
The INET wouldn't have shown you that, because.
Yeah, we looked at it, and the
Yeah.
INET showed us broadcasting, but
The
Right.
INET will
Cool
show
called
you
me at
what
home
we
and
were
said,
sending
"What's
out.
on
It
the
won't show
actual
you what
TV?"
Woodbridge is receiving.
No, but what it would say is, when that ended, if we didn't see anything and we saw a blank screen or something, we could then call the head end at Cablevision and say, guess what? You were supposed to cut this off.
What actually
You didn't do
happened
that.
with that is we continued to play on our players the content we
Mhm.
wanted to go out, and we were under the impression it was going out. But
Right.
when
Right.
I went home down the street and
Sure.
looked on the
Mhm.
TV, it was
was-
CTN
Right,
instead.
and that's because
So
it's Soundview.
you'll need a
We
TV in
did-
Woodbridge to see it,
Right.
not INET.
Well, but the point is, we will have to coordinate with that, and Cablevision made the commitment
Yeah.
in the docket that they would be
Yeah.
doing that switching.
But we
so-
haven't heard anything about a system to do it, and obviously, we're just agreeing
Yeah.
here that the
There-
system they
there
had in
will be-
place
there will-
didn't work.
There will have to be some way to know,
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
verify that
And it may be
switch.
completely separate from the INET. I don't think it
Right.
actually would be the INET at all.
Because what you're saying is you have to be sure that the subscribers
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
subscribers in Woodbridge are seeing is what they're supposed to be
That's right.
seeing for this.
We
Well,
need
this
a
is-
Cablevision set at home.
We
to see
would,
it.
or we would need, that's where we would need,
Yeah.
we would need that. And that can't happen. The only way that can happen is through the advisory council, saying, can Soundview be a site? But if it comes at the recommendation of the towns and that will
Yeah.
help us.
The INET itself is not going to show you what's playing in Woodbridge. So you're literally going to have to be located in Woodbridge to see it.
All you'll be able to see.
And maybe
with the
that means
No, but if I
town
get a
hall.
return, if I get a return line,
Yeah.
I will see that.
If you get a
We do that.
return line.
We do that now. We're a send site now.
Mhm.
We also have, if you go to, in our reception area,
Mhm.
what you see on the screen is what's coming out on the subscribers.
Only in Bridgeport.
No.
You can see Woodbridge?
P and E,
Mhm.
because it's system-wide, not G.
But that's not the INET, that's just Cablevision sending you the signal.
But but right now, we have P and E, so what's ever coming on the P and E. G would be if it was system-wide, but we would need to have.
This is the sort of thing we should try to get in writing, both from
Mhm.
Cablevision, but between Soundview
But
and the
that's what they-
municipality
Yeah.
as well. Because these are the issues that the folks watching at home right now are gonna
Mhm.
want to know the answer to.
Right.
So I think that in terms of content, I think we've got a sense of what's happening there. I think we would like to hear more about what Soundview is offering.
Mhm.
We need to make a decision about what content we're
That's
going
right.
to do, and then take a look at your incentive program. So let's
Mhm.
talk for a moment about the incentive program. The equipment seems to be, what I did read of your proposal, yeah, is that the equipment, actually, I saw things that kind of contradicted themselves. One said that the equipment would be purchased by Soundview,
Correct.
but then you're asking later on for, under your section of requirements, that we give you some kind of documentation of the purchase, but we wouldn't have made the purchase. So I'm wondering if this document is sort of internally inconsistent in that regard.
The proposal that we have in mind is we would purchase the equipment. And the reason we would purchase the equipment is, as we're purchasing for all the towns, we're looking for something consistent. What I've heard tonight, you've had already breakdowns. It sounds to me like the equipment that you have is probably consumer grade.
It is.
We are going to be probably putting in top-notch commercial grade equipment. okay?
And I think our concern there will be, if we don't own that equipment, we've just leased out the government access channel. So if we were to
Okay.
own the equipment, if we were to receive a grant from Soundview and the town of Woodbridge purchases the equipment, then we still own the station.
You don't
And
own
the
the
purchase could be
okay.
made, the purchase could be made to Soundview specs to answer, to answer that
You know
concern
what?
you have about
That,
consistency.
here's the reason we would
Question of
purchase the
ownership.
equipment and ownership.
Mhm.
It relieves the town of having to worry about the equipment. For example, it would be our equipment, we would maintain it. If it breaks down, we would fix it
Or replace
or
it,
replace it
and insure it,
and insure it, as long as you have it in a safe place.
and it's dedicated only
And
for
it's
you.
dedicated for that purpose. That's the advantage, and I will tell you, that happens in Stratford. And sometimes it may not be the right equipment, we have the flexibility. And as technology changes, which it always does, we then can come in and upgrade it. For example, what we did with Stratford is, when we put their equipment in, we were giving them VCR recorders and playback when that was the mode. Well, now it's all digital, DVD. We've come in and we've now put digital in there. That's the advantage to the town. If you were to own it, then by owning it, you have total responsibility and ownership for whatever happens to that program. And my argument is, we would consider that if you wanted to own it. But if you did own it, you would have total responsibility. We wouldn't maintain it, we wouldn't fix it, we wouldn't repair it.
But you're
It's your
offering us that
equipment.
option.
But we could offer that option.
Okay, because that's,
Okay? It's not in there because this is the proposal, and this is why we're asking
The
for your
proposal for
suggestions and
feedback, right.
comments.
Okay.
What would you like to see?
because I think that we will hear a concern that, yes, we own the consumer-grade equipment, and when it breaks, we are right here in Town Hall with the people who will make the decision and say, okay, go out today and purchase this new thing. If we're talking about removing, it's almost like absentee landlord, you're in Bridgeport, we're in Woodbridge. Can we get the same level of service?
You
We know where these
probably-
folks live,
Well-
literally. If we need to get them in the middle of the night, we can go knock on their door.
It would be, for example, if it broke down, what we would probably do, as we do
Well, we
now, is
probably
we
have
have
a
a
spare.
backup, at the thing, so in the
You'd bring it
interim, we
in,
could
right?
probably get that into you quickly. And we've done that.
Mhm.
Probably
So-
have a spare, right? You'd have a
Yes,
spare.
we keep a spare.
Yeah.
The other
Right.
thing, when
And then
you're
it's just a
dealing
matter of
with
driving
commercial
down
grade
Bridgeport.
equipment versus consumable grade equipment, you're going to find that the uptime is that much more reliable and better.
Mhm.
John, I-
Wouldn't we also get a better deal if we purchase it on more of them at a time? than-
We would do that, and the other advantage too is we're looking for consistency for training and having compatible.
Yeah.
Where's
So
this
that's the
gonna,
thing.
if, this is my other concern, and I know the difference between professional equipment and
Mhm.
consumer equipment.
Sure.
And if it's out there, I know how to use it, basically.
Right.
Who's training these people? Because I went to school for this. This is not a training thing that you teach people in a day.
Mhm.
If
We
you're
don't.
talking about this kind of quality that you want, this the kind of equipment that if you're going to put professional grade equipment for people who are not per se professionals, and a lot of people volunteer their time to keep these
Mhm.
stations running. Who's going to train these
We-
people?
we
What are we
provide-
talking about in terms of, are we talking about cameras or decks, or what are we talking
Cameras,
about?
decks, and the editing equipment, and we're looking at the TriCaster as an example. right?
Yeah, the complete system.
And what we do, we would provide, Soundview would provide the basic
Training for free.
on the proper use for free. And if it means coming to the location, here, we will do that. Can we do it in one night? No.
That's what.
It probably will take, right now, our field production training is a 4-week course.
What I'm saying
They
is I
meet-
don't want it done in one night. I don't want.
It wouldn't
someone
be
to-
done in one night.
Right. I don't want someone to
Yeah.
walk in here and say, "Here's the power
So
button.
another
Here's the
question,
play
and I
button.
think
Okay,
Jonathan-
goodbye."
I think Jonathan can give us some feedback on this. Part of what we're doing with the Government Access Channel is enabling the students at Amity High School to pick up skills.
Mhm.
With what's on paper right now, it seems as though our choice of equipment is going to be dictated by Soundview, and you're using professional editing suite equipment, not necessarily what these students want to learn or need to learn in order to use the equipment at the high school. So I think that in terms of editing, you should take a look at the quality of what's
Mhm.
coming out of that classroom.
Mhm.
And we've been going good so far with that. And the question's going to be, are we going to upset the apple cart by bringing in another set of equipment, even though it is professional quality, grade equipment? is it what we need in Woodbridge? It's that local
All right,
question.
Sheila, here's what we would do.